What is up, people of YouTube? I'm your host Vernon. This is Lava Butte. Let's fish that. Alright guys, I know, yet another video at Lava Butte, but this time around we're not targeting any carp or any catfish. No, we're out here today for a completely different type of video. So in the animal kingdom, we have carnivores, we have herbivores, and we have omnivores. Taking something like night crawlers, casting that out there is a pretty good way to try and find some of the carnivores, maybe some of the omnivores. But today I want to focus on the other side, the herbivores. There is a few species in these waters that only eat plants. That is what I want to try and catch today. So obviously the baits that you can use to try and catch these fish are very limited. One would maybe think of going to a pet store, getting some plants to fish out here with, but I want to stop you right there. Don't be that guy. That is how you spread new species or invasive species to a body of water, by doing something like that. So please don't use any live plants out there, but that then does limit you to what you can use. I want to try out a few different things to see whether I can find any baits that would work for these plant eaters. Alright, so here's what I came up with for today. I'm going to be using some Placo wafers. This is mostly fish meal and some algae extracts and stuff like that. So if you're into aquariums, this is what you probably use to feed some of your algae eaters or bottom feeders. That is what I want to be using out here today, to see if we can get any of these herbivores to go for something like this. Now of course you cannot use these little wafers as is. They're quite hard. You cannot get a hook through them. So what I'm doing, I'm crushing them into small pieces, adding a little bit of water, and that gives me this malleable paste. And it's this paste that I use on my hook, and I just put it on the hook like that, and hopefully this will be enough to get some fish to go for it. The idea being that we're hoping to get some shad, or maybe some of the placos that we know are in these waters, or any other algae eaters out there. Quite something different, something new for me to try out. I want to see whether I can target a different type of fish. I'm choosing this location because I know of the deep hole where all the fish are hauled up together. These little baits of mine, guessing by the time the baits dissolve in the water, I'm thinking I have something like 10 to 20 minutes where I can use these baits before I have to replace them. So let's get this out there and see if we can catch any fish on this. Been getting a few taps on it, meaning that it seems that something is interested in what I'm putting out there, but it seems to be small fish nibbling. I got small hooks on there. Let's see if maybe we can get anything. Of course, this is a very strange thing to be doing. I cannot guarantee that I will be catching any fish on that. So on my second rod, I'm going to be using some other baits and some other lures, see if maybe I can find some other fish while we're waiting for some fish on that. Alright guys, some good news and some bad news. Good news, we finally got a fish on the baits. That means these baits are working. Bad news, that fish went straight into the bushes, and sadly I lost that fish. But we rebaited. Let's see if maybe another one is willing to go for our baits. Alright guys, finally managed to hook a fish. This is on our little algae baits. Time to see what it is. You can already see the shape in the water. Not what we was hoping to get on these baits. Of course, we managed to catch an omnivore, one of the few species that will go for both plant-based as well as bait or something alive, and that is a carp. Lots of energy in this guy. Just gonna play him out a bit. Don't want him to get wrapped around some structure, so I brought him in closer. But at least we're not going to get skunked for today. At least we have a fish. Was hoping to get something like a pleco, maybe some shad or something. But at this point, happy to take anything. Quickly, let's get rid of this bell. And catching this little carp in here kind of explains to me why this bait is working, but also why it's not working. Yes, it is plant-based, it has some algae formula in there, but alongside it, it has some fish meal, and that of course kind of means I just made a plant-based boilie, and with that we managed to get this little carp. Let's quickly walk him to some shallower waters. There we go guys, fish landed. Lovely little carp here from Lava Butte. Not the intended species for today, but at least we got something. Let's get him unhooked and back into the water. Alright guys, let's get our fish back into the water. Gonna try and get some underwater footage of him. And off he goes. There he goes, back into the river. Seems like no matter how I try, I always seem to be cursed in catching some carp. One thing I would like to note, you guys saw that fish, wasn't that big, but I've been using small hooks to try and catch these fish out here. And this is the hook. Look at how bent it is at the moment. That is what that small fish did to this hook. So, gonna put on some bigger hooks so that we don't hurt the fish by breaking off some hooks. Again, fish on, heading straight into the cover again. See if we can get him out of there. Again, we have a carp. Seems that my algae baits are only working for carp today. It's a bit bigger one than the previous one, so we're not going to rush them in. These fish are quite fun to play on this light line. This rod of mine, I have 4 pounds fluoro. Luckily these fish aren't massive. If this was a 30-pound fish, obviously it would snap this line. But still quite powerful fish. Nice to play it on the light line. Let's once again try and get rid of the bell. And again, we're just going to walk this fish back to some shallower water. You can see this fish has some bright fins. I think this one might be a male. We need to take this very slowly because this fish still has some power in him, and against the current it's easy for him to either break the line or rip out the hook. So we just need to take it slowly. Alright, so we have our little carp up shallow. Quickly gonna get the hook out and have a look at the fish. And there we are, guys. Second fish for today. Another little carp from this pool. I'm not going to do an underwater release with this guy. It's quite big, so it's difficult to handle him and the camera. But let's get him back into the water. Strong kick from him, and off he goes. There we go, guys. Another carp. Angry one. This went straight into the cover there. We got some trees on him, but that's come off at the moment. So now we just tire out the fish again. I don't know how many fish are in this particular hole. I doubt that you will be catching the same fish over and over. But this one does seem a lot more feisty and a bit bigger than the other two. So once again, I think let's walk this guy to some shallower water. There we go, guys. Third carp for today. Again, not what we were hoping to get out there, but at least we're catching something. Nice big carp. You can see the orange on the tail I was talking about. Thinking again, this is a male. Not as fat as the ones that I'm getting from Lake Mead. These bellies aren't as full, but lovely fish to catch. Let's get him back into the water. And there he goes. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, I set out this morning hoping to figure out this new bait, try and use it, and hopefully get on some different species of fish. Sadly, this was not the case. Evidently, these baits work perfectly well for carp, but hoping that these plant-based algae type feed would have enticed some other different fish to bite, but that was not meant to be. So this is a quite strange situation. I'm kind of sad about not finding this miracle bait that will get me on some new fish, but of course I cannot complain, having caught 3 fish out there today, having quite a lot of hits and bites. I think there are some fish nibbling on the baits, but only the big carp are getting hooked, which of course means that I ended up catching some carp. And I said in the beginning, we're not targeting them, but I'm not going to complain. It's fun catching these fish. Okay guys, but I do want to know from you guys, have you tried some different baits and had some success? Please go down in the comments and tell me what different types of baits you have used and what type of fish you can catch with it. If you enjoyed this video, please do give me a little thumbs up. If you're new to the channel, consider hitting the subscribe button, joining my community. Alright guys, but thank you for following me out here and spending some time with me. And as always, I'll see you next time.